Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a fantastic day. With the Elden Ring DLC ominously looming on the horizon, like that deathrite bird in the Consecrated Snowfields that you really don't want to tackle, but you know you should. Now is the best time to ensure that you've done absolutely everything possible to help you prepare for the inevitable difficulty spike of the Shadow of the Erdtree. Therefore, I've put together part 2 of the discoveries and secrets that you may have missed to help you fully prepare for the DLC. And with that, let's jump straight into the first one. There are so many hidden secrets in Caelid, it's amazing. This is the one and only time I will be talking about the lore and an NPC briefly. I felt that this piece of knowledge had to be shared with you, and it's become a meme over on Twitch because I reference this piece of information every single time his name comes up. I am talking about Radahn, and more specifically his horse, Leonard. I need to get this out there for anyone who still might not know, so please let me know if there's any one person watching this right now who didn't know what I'm about to tell you. My job here is done. The rest of the video doesn't matter if I have educated one person with this bit of information. As you can see from the item description of the Remembrance of the Star Scourge, once you have beaten General Radahn, the Red Lion General wielded gravitational powers which he learned in Sellia during his younger days, all so he would never have to abandon his beloved but scrawny steed. That is right, Star Scourge Radahn, the most powerful of all the gods. An absolute killing machine corrupted by the rot, literally learned to master a whole school of magic just so he wouldn't accidentally hurt his horse under his massive weight. Is that not just the most touching bit of lore that's ever been put in a video game ever? It is so heartbreakingly beautiful that I couldn't not include it on this list. 10 out of 10 Radahn, you are the true Giga Chad. And because of this information, I am heartbroken every time I come back to this fight. The fact that it's even referenced multiple times that he has gone so mad he will kill and eat friend and foe alike. Yet, he has not even for a second ever considered hurting Leonard. His love for that horse is more powerful than the Scarlet Rot. That is just so incredible. And next up, we're going to go right to the northeast of Caelid and round the back of the building where you meet Geraint the Beast Clergyman. Head out of Geraint's building, turn right and go round the back. Once you get to this spot at the cliff edge, I'll just bring it up on the map for you now. You can very carefully drop down onto the tree branch. Drop down once more onto the branch below, and then again to the roof of the building below that. Now you want to use the jutty-outy ledges. That's the technical term for it, by the way, the jutty-outy ledges. And you want to traverse down 2 more levels. Be careful of the bats around. If you're here at a very low level, they are pretty strong. And when you get right to the bottom, keep heading north, and eventually you'll come across this dagger, which I believe is pronounced the Cinquedea. This is one of the most secrets in the game, I believe personally. I did not know about this for so long. And it's very powerful and very unique in that it raises the potency of bestial incantations. So if you do like to use all the spells that Geraint gives you for delivering him that death route, this is the dagger for you. The dagger itself unfortunately doesn't scale with faith, and it can't be infused, so you can't change that. But nonetheless, it gives you a 10% damage buff for your bestial incantations, and this effect will stack and multiply with the claw mark seal. Also, fun fact, Cinquedea comes from the name of an Italian short sword, and the name literally translates to 5 fingers. In real life, that is referencing the width of the blade. However, they have perfectly translated that to Elden Ring, and as it says, the design celebrates a beast's 5 fingers, symbolic of the intelligence once granted upon their kind. I love that so much. The next tip is also in Caelid, more specifically in Sellia, the town of sorcery. The only reason we're here is simply to light the 3 fires and grant us access beyond the town. So go around the town, lighting the 3 fires that you see here, and then meet me out the back. Now traverse up these cliffs, avoiding the giant balls of death that come rolling at you as you progress. And when you get to the top, where you see Millicent at the church, head directly north. Before long, you'll see this spirit spring. This will allow you to jump on top of this giant skull. And up here are some very late game smithing materials. Smithing stones 7 and 8 can be in very short supply, and having such quick and easy access to a smithing stone 8, 2 7s and a stone sword key is absolutely fantastic. The items themselves that you can gather from this discovery aren't too amazing. Yeah, they're just smithing stones, we've seen them a million times. But how easily accessible yet missable they are really intrigued me, and I thought this was an amazing part of the game to include in this list. Going back to Radahn's arena, we're going to go directly to the very northern corner of his arena, and I introduce you to a hidden cave. This one, very simple. For anyone that didn't know, this is the only cave in the game that is actually inside of a boss arena. Go directly north, and right at the end of this boss arena, just by the beach, is the Dead Catacombs. This is an incredibly difficult and extremely late game dungeon not to be trifled with. And another fun fact for you, it used to be an incredibly powerful rune farm. When enemies used to deal 100% damage to each other, you could sit here and just AFK and they would all fight each other and you would get tens of thousands of runes. It was insane. However, enemies only do something pathetic like 5 or 10% damage to each other now, and they also won't even start to hurt each other until you have engaged in combat and aggroed them at least once. So this AFK farm, along with pretty much all others, is completely gone, but I thought I'd share that with you whilst we were here. Still a very awesome cave, though a very difficult one. Next up, I will meet you back in the mountaintops of the Giants, more specifically at Castle Sol. I've just defeated Commander Nile, but that's not why we're here. Let's head up these stairs and up this lift and grab ourselves the Erdtree secret medallion left half, because we will need both halves so that we can access the hidden path to the Erdtree, as the next part of this video will encompass quite a few things, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. Now that we've grabbed that, I meet you here at the village of the Albinaurics, and if we head southeast, we can roll into this pot and reveal that it's just little old Albus. By speaking to him, he will grant you with the other half of the Erdtree secret medallion. Now, if you speak to Albus early on in the game, there is an additional part to this quest. You'll be able to take the medallion down to the south of Liurnia. Around here, you can progress through a cave and present this to Latenna. That will trigger her questline, and you'll also get her as a Spirit Ash. As I say, NPC questlines aren't the purpose of this video, so we'll ignore that side section and go back to the main reason that we just collected the medallion. Let's teleport to the Grand Lift of Rold and use the secret medallion to transport us to the hidden path to the Erdtree. As we progress through here, dodging all of the Vulgar Militia, we can drop down off the side of this broken balcony and onto an invisible bridge. Our first rare find, and one of the most important in the game, is behind this illusionary wall where we can acquire the silver scarab, which will drastically increase our item discovery. But more importantly, once you have blitzed through the rest of the hidden path, you will eventually come out and find yourself in the Consecrated Snowfields. As you can see, the majority of the area is just white nothingness. There is a reason that this is the only area in the entirety of my Things You Missed series that had 4 parts. No area in the game has more missable stuff and is harder and more confusing to navigate than the Consecrated Snowfields, making it full of rare discoveries and secrets. For that reason, this entire area had to make its way onto this list. The next tip is this weird ass fucking Torrent bug. Look, he's just stood there. I dismounted and he didn't go. Has anyone why has this happened? What the fuck? Anyway, I get back on and he sure enough starts to work again. But then I dismount, he kind of disappears in a weird way I've never seen him disappear before, and now he won't come back. He's left me. He hates me. He's just gone. What a random ass bug. FromSoft have fixed some incredibly major and minor bugs in this game. They've done a fantastic job. This game runs pretty damn clean. I don't recall the last time I played a game that had so few bugs. But what is this? What is happening? Next up, we're going to bypass Sellia to get you to Caelid as soon as possible. Once you've grabbed Torrent, just head east until you're here at the Third Church of Marika. Now head north and jump in the portal that takes you to Grail's Dragon Barrow. Keep travelling south and grab this Site of Grace on the way, because we'll be using it later. And now you just want to beeline it past Flying Dragon Grail, past the Putrid Avatar, and up the Spirit Spring towards Fort Faroth. You may as well grab the Site of Grace here as well. And now we're going to jump off the cliff and start heading south. At first, you probably thought I was on about the loot on top of the skull that quite a few people still don't know about, but I have actually already covered that in a previous secrets video. The next thing we're going to do is head to Millicent's Church and grab the Site of Grace, just in case this next bit goes wrong. And all you're going to do is keep sprinting along until you get to these ramparts. As you try and get through, you will be blocked by an invisible sorcerer. You should be able to just scooch around him though and get out the other side. At this point is a series of tombstones you can use as ledges that so many people don't know about. Hop down here and you have just bypassed the entirety of the town of Sellia. Now grab the Site of Grace on the Aeonian Swamp shoreline, and you have got access to the entirety of Caelid within 5 minutes of playing, and without having to deal with the pesky town of Sellia. This is such a fantastic way to start any playthrough, because you now have so many quick and easy ways to travel around. Now we're going to engage the Mad Pumpkinhead by Selen. But did you know, despite the fact that this boss fight is inside, you can fight on horseback? And oh my lord, does it make it easier. That's right, there are certain indoor dungeons where you can use Torrent to fight bosses. I had never even considered it, so I'd never even bothered checking before. I just assumed if we were inside, we couldn't use Torrent. So the other one I'm going to show off, which Torrent makes trivially easy, is the Royal Revenant. The one that everyone hates, despite how early game this boss is. You can easily avoid 90% of his attacks, most importantly that bloody poison shotgun that he does. Yes, my character's very leveled up for this point in the game, but you can see just from this example how much easier this boss becomes. He barely even touched me. So please let me know in the comments if there are any more bosses indoors that you can fight on horseback that I have missed. It may not just be these two. Either way, I hope you'll agree, a very useful tip to know. The next tip will require a little bit of setup, depending on your build. The one thing you will need to do is come here to the Academy Gate town in Liurnia and head northwest. Traverse through the ruins of the town, and you can hop up onto this dilapidated building, and you can loot the Glintstone Craftsman's Cookbook 4. This will allow you to craft magic pots. Now, as I say, if you are a low intelligence build, you are going to need a little bit of intelligence to pull off what I am about to share with you. So I suggest you defeat the knight in the north of Limgrave and grab the Ash of War Golden Vow, and then in Liurnia buy EG. Very carefully jump down this cliff or just walk around the normal, albeit much slower way, and grab the Intelligence Not Crystal tier. These two pieces of equipment plus at least 9 intellect should be all you need. Now we just need to grab some glintstone fireflies and some cracked pots so we can actually make some magic pots, and then I will show you how to one-shot the Minic Tear. I believe the quickest and easiest way to grab some glintstone fireflies is here at Lenny's Rise. Just one sweep will get you 6, and that's enough for 3 magic pots, which should be absolutely plenty. Next up, once you've defeated Radahn and you are here at the Minic Tear boss fight in Nokron, all you're going to do is enter the boss fight, drink your physic and apply Golden Vow to make sure you've got at least 19 intelligence with Golden Vow active. Then walk on top of this bit of rubble, and with some precise aiming, making sure you stay away from the edge of the rubble, your magic pot will one-shot the Minic Tear before it even spawns in. And as you see, I did fumble the first one. That's why we bring a few just in case. It really is as simple as that. Great enemy has been felled. 10,000 runes, a few larval tears, and a boss has been defeated. Congratulations! The next one is an incredibly quick tip that can help you in very many sticky situations. Say you're sprinting through an area you shouldn't be in, just like I am here trying to rush towards Radagon's Soreseal. Well, if the bats do get the drop on you and end up getting a few hits in, save your healing until you grab the ladder, because you heal a whole second faster on ladders. And in a Souls like that is a huge amount of time. And I am not ashamed to admit, this tip I did actually find out from someone on my stream. I had no idea you could heal on ladders, let alone the fact that it's even quicker than healing regularly. This absolutely blew my mind, and it definitely would have saved my life in so many situations to know this previously. Anyway, now for the really juicy one I've been waiting to share with you all video. Get yourself right here in the center of southern Liurnia, and just off to the west of this altar is this giant lobster wandering around. Would it blow your mind to find out that this is actually a Minic Tear? Most Minic Tears we see in the open world are disguised as commoners and end up turning into rune bears. However, this one is disguised as a giant lobster and turns into a grafted scion. This is the secret that blows the most people's minds every time I share this on streams, so I thought it was finally time to bring it here to my audience on YouTube. Just as with all the Minic Tears, you are rewarded with a larval tear once it's defeated. And personally, I would actually rather fight a giant lobster intergrafted scion than a rune bear. I truly hate rune bears, so I find this the easiest early game larval tier to get. What about you? Would you rather fight this, or would you rather fight a rune bear? I'm genuinely curious now. Next up is a tip about how to use the map efficiently. Usually, if we want to go places, we do this. We drag the cursor from place to place to place, and it takes bloody ages. I'm assuming by now most people know that if you press Y or triangle, you will bring up the list of sites of grace and you can scroll through them. This is okay and can be really quick if you learn the order of the sites of grace. But that's not what this tip is about. There is something even better and even quicker. Once you have this list up, if you press square on your PS controller or X on your Xbox controller, that is a shortcut to teleport back to Roundtable Hold. And then obviously all you need to do is confirm. So if you're looking at the face on your controller as if it's the D-pad, literally all you're doing is pressing up, left, down, and you are instantly in Roundtable. So once more for PlayStation users, that is triangle, square, X. Or for Xbox users, it'll be Y, X, A. Just them 3 buttons, one after the other, and you are instantaneously in Roundtable Hold. This is absolutely clutch in many situations where you're just about to go into a fight and you just need to get out as quick as you can. And also just saves a lot of time if you're wanting to speedrun the game as well. It's so much quicker than having to drag your cursor all the way down to Roundtable Hold. This penultimate tip isn't so much of a secret, it's just something I know you are all forgetting to do. And this is using your markers. Obviously, you can put down up to 5 of these blue arrows on the map at any one time, and they're very quick and easy to use, and they are great for certain situations. But you can have 100 markers, and they're even coded with a bunch of different icons. My favorite way to use these to give you a suggestion, an idea, is if I'm in the mood to really comb through every area and do another 100% run, and I encounter a boss that I'm not quite ready to tackle, I'll leave a marker there, because it is very easy to get sidetracked and progress to Altus and progress to Lane Dell and forget and never come back and do that boss. So use markers, put markers down, and it makes the map feel more interactive and gives you a few actual objectives for people that like a quest log. You're kind of putting your own quest markers down. It's something that even I want to start using more because I use them very minimally, but when I do use them, they're very fun and they're really helpful. And the final thing I want to share with you in this video is actually a question to you. What is one thing that it took you far too long to learn in this game? Something that was a secret to you that other people might still not know about? I'm very embarrassingly going to share mine with you, and that is the fact that I didn't know how to kill skeletons for the longest time during my first playthrough. Having come from Dark Souls, any longtime fans of Dark Souls will know that you could not kill skeletons without a pure holy weapon. They would die, they would have a similar animation to what they have in Elden Ring, and then they would respawn. Because I was still in that mentality, when the skeleton died, I didn't even consider trying to hit it again. I just thought, oh crap, it's another Dark Souls, I'm gonna have to find a holy weapon, then come back. So I knocked them all to the ground to give myself a few seconds, and then I legged it. And I'm using this area specifically to showcase this to you, because this area gave me so much trouble, because I was like, why are there so many unkillable enemies in such an early game area? And I think it was pure coincidence when one of them died very close to another one that I was killing. And this wasn't until way later on in the game, probably the mountaintops. And I ended up killing it, and I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. So I'd love to hear your Elden Ring faux pas to make me feel better about myself. Anyway, hopefully at least a few of these tips were brand new news to you and will help you have even more fun during your next Elden Ring playthrough. And with that, all that's left for me to say is thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.